Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome to the daily current affairs. Today we'll be covering 11th and 12th January 2023 from PIB, AIR, Down to Earth, PBNS, all these government sites. So these are the contents for today. The first content is the cabinet has approved some multi-state cooperative societies under the Multi State Cooperative Societies Act of 2002. So here we'll cover the what is multi-state cooperative societies and what are cooperatives, what are the constitutional provisions, everything will cover. Second is a polity topic. There was a recent news between the Tamil Nadu governor and the Stalin government when the governor while addressing the legislative assembly, he deleted some portions which was given to him by the government. So was it constitutional or not, and what are the constitutional provisions we will cover over here. Next is 14th World Spice Congress to promote trade. So here we'll cover Indian spices, like what are the spices, what are the production, which state has the more production, what is Indian Spice Board, so all these things we will cover, and some miscellaneous topics. Next is Shamlat lands hold key to the Dalit empowerment. Now this article was in Down to Earth, so that will cover here. Next is Ebola, will cover been set by FSSAI. Now groundwater contamination with uranium, we will cover uranium. Then there is a very special article from Down to Earth about Roman secret to durable architecture. Why the architecture of Romans are very durable. So that also will cover. Next is Union Minister says Indo-Japan Working Group will work together to achieve sustainable transport goals. So here we'll cover Japan mapping. Next, Amit Shah releases book titled Revolutionaries, the other story of how India won its freedom. So here we will cover like this is the book name. It was like the author is a person who is a member of Economic Advisory Council to the PM. So we'll cover this. And next is personality news. So every video will cover one personality on the same topic on the same day, whether it's a birth anniversary or a death anniversary. So here today is Swami Vivekananda. Okay, so let's start. So coming to the first topic, that is the cabinet has approved multi-state cooperative organic society for organic products, for cooperative export society, for seed cooperative society. So all these cooperative societies the cabinet has approved. Now it will be all added into the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act of 2002. So we'll cover all these things. Here the topic is cooperatives, but I'll share one more video. I'll share the link in the description about cooperatives video. I had already uploaded it, so I'll mention the link. Fine. So what are cooperatives? Cooperatives are autonomous association of persons united voluntarily. So it is autonomous association of persons. The objective is they'll be having common social, economic, cultural, social, cultural needs. Okay, it can be anything. For example, it can be farmer cooperative societies like FPOs, farmer producer organizations, marketing cooperative societies, credit cooperative societies, producer cooperative societies, etc., etc. For example, Amul is a cooperative society. Okay. Now the largest cooperative society is IFFCO, IFFCO. It is the Indian Farmers Fertilizer Cooperative. So IFFCO is the largest cooperative society. They may ask you in any kind of banking exams or state exams. It was established in 1967. Now we'll cover some aspects of cooperatives with respect to pre-independence and post-independence. Pre-independence cooperative, the origin, it came from 1904. There is an act called Cooperative Societies Act when the Governor General was Curzon, Lord Curzon. Now then it was a simple act, like it was a very starting time. Now in 1999, it is the Government of India Act 1919. These all acts are part of our modern history. So you have to cover these acts in detail when you cover static part. So in this act, cooperatives was introduced as a provincial subject, and in today's time, cooperatives is a state subject. Cooperatives is a state subject. Okay. Fine. Now in 1919, the first cooperative land mortgage banks were established in Punjab. So it is a factual data. Now coming to post-independence, in post-independence, it became an integral part of the first five-year plan from 1951 to 56. Agriculture was given very much importance, and cooperative societies was also an important part of first five-year plan. Next, in 1962, NCDC, that is National Cooperative Development Corporation, was established through an act, that is the NCDC Act. Now finally, now here in 1962, it was given a legal definition. Okay, but there was no constitutional definition or constitutional backing. So in 2011, in the 97th Constitutional Amendment Act, it gave a constitutional status to the cooperatives. Now, three things were added in the 97 Constitutional Amendment Act. Three things were added. These three things were added. First is right to establish cooperative as a fundamental right. So it was included in Article 19. Now in DPSP also it was added Article 43B, that is the state should endeavor to promote cooperative societies. Now finally a special part was added, all the like the election of the board of directors, the tenure, everything regarding the provisions of cooperative societies, that is in part 9B, that is Article 243 ZH to ZT. Now this you can cover from Bare Act, but I will provide the link where I've covered all these things. I'll provide the link in the description. You can directly cover this part 9B from that video. I have very easily explained it. Fine. Now the constitutional provisions also applicable to multi-state cooperatives. Now in Article ZH, between ZH and ZT, there is a provision for multi-state. It says that all the provisions of part 9B also are applicable to multi-state cooperatives. So here our today's topic is actually multi-state cooperatives. So we'll cover these multi-state cooperatives, some like what are the recent news and what are the issues regarding the recent bill. There is a bill also. Okay, fine. Next. So coming to multi-state cooperatives. Multi-state cooperatives are nothing but it is not restricted to one single state. Like for example, suppose there is a FPO, that is farmer producer organization. Now suppose it procures grains from farmers from multiple states, it means the operations are in more than one state, so it becomes a multi-state cooperative society. Simple. Now these kind of societies are registered under the 2002 Act, that is the Multi-State Cooperatives Act of 2002. Now this act was in 2002. Now at that point of time, cooperative societies did not have a constitutional provision, because constitutional provision came in 2011, that is 97th Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay, and their regulation lies with the central register. Fine. The board of directors from all states, like the board of directors are from the all states where the operation is. Suppose the operation is in 2 to 3 states, so the board of directors should be from 3 states. Now how the board of directors, like it will be composed of around 21 members. All these things are mentioned in the Bare Act when you go through the article. Okay, Maharashtra has the highest number of multi-state cooperatives, around 1500. Now this act was enacted to consolidate and amend the laws related to cooperative societies. Now the thing is, 2002 Act was also not the original act. Before that, in 1984 there was a act. It was very old. So in a way to amend all these things and consolidate, so they made a separate Multi-State Cooperatives Act of 2002. Now the act was passed in 2002. The objective was to facilitate the incorporation, functioning, organization of the cooperative societies that have jurisdiction in more than one state. Now the act ensures voluntary formation, proper operation of multi-state cooperative societies that are member-driven institutions, and they are based on self-help and mutual aid. Fine. Now it is a important prelims fact. It is not mandatory for the society to have branches in more than one state. It may have it limited to one state. Like branch can be in one state. Branches can be in 2 to 3 states depending on the operation, but it is not mandatory. Branch can be in one state. And it shall not cease to have a multi-state cooperative society as long as it serves the interests of the members in more than one state. The thing is, the operation should be in more than one state to be called as multi-state, not the branch. Branch may or may not be in one state. Remember this fact. Okay. Now there was a recent bill, that is the Multi State Cooperative Societies Amendment Bill of 2022. Now it was also in recent current affairs. So you have to cover the basic provisions of the bill. These are the basic provisions of the bill. Like they are amending it, and they are wanting to have a cooperative election authority, appointment of a cooperative information officer to share the information, one or more cooperative ombudsman. If there is any kind of grievances, we should have an ombudsman. Like we also have an RBI ombudsman, where you can go for our grievances for banking services. Similarly, for a cooperative ombudsman, they also want to have a cooperative rehabilitation and development fund. To rehabilitate or to develop a cooperative, we need to have some funds. So that provision is also there. There is also provision of merger of any cooperative society. Suppose a cooperative society is not that much like a healthy, or it's not working properly. So there is a provision of merger. Till now, it is not there. So they have added in the bill. Now the issues of the bill is that there is a kind of a center encroachment, because see, the thing is, the bill multi-state is made by center, but the thing is, cooperative is a state subject, right? So indirectly you are interfering. It is a state subject. Now merging provision is also not mentioned in the constitution. If you see Article 243 ZH2 ZT, you will find no provision of merging. So they have included in the bill. So it is also kind of an encroachment. Now the central register can allow inspection of societies under special conditions. Now only the central register can allow. So here also there is a interference from the center. But the thing is, you can go through the recent Supreme Court judgment also. I have not included here. If you see the video, special video on cooperatives, for which I'll be sharing the link, you can see there is a special judgment where the court has upheld the validity that center, when it comes to multi-state cooperative society, it is the center who has the power. We call here the issues with the bill, but still then from the judiciary point of view, it has upheld it. Fine. For more information, you can check that video. I'll be sharing the link. Fine. Now coming to the next topic. Now next topic is Tamil Nadu Governor versus Stalin government. Does the governor have the right to delete portions of his address to the Legislative Assembly? Now, governor will address. Now, when it will address, we'll cover it. Now, the point is where that power comes. Can the governor has a right to delete portions? Now, there is a convention. The convention deems that governor must not edit the address sent by the governor. The Tamil Nadu incident is a pointer to the growing distrust between the office of the governor and the ministers. Now, we'll study in detail like what exactly happened and what are the constitutional provisions and the what exactly happened. That is, what is the issue? What are the constitutional provisions? And what are the judiciary provisions? Three things are required here. Okay. Judiciary means what are the court verdict, Supreme Court or a High Court verdict. Okay. So it can be a potential prelims plus potential mains question. Okay. Now, coming to the news. Now, why it was in news? See, recently the Tamil Nadu Assembly was rocked by unprecedented scenes when the governor skipped certain portions from the customary speech submitted to him by the state government for reading at the start of the assembly session. So for the start of the assembly session, when assembly starts, the governor has to address. That is mandatory. Addressing is mandatory because it is mentioned in the constitution. We'll cover the constitutional aspect here. Now, there is a speech which is submitted to by the government. So he skipped certain parts. Okay. Now, the conflict arose when governor made changes to the prepared speech he read out in the assembly. He made some changes. The skipped portions of the governor's address was about B.R. Ambedkar, Dravidian leaders, and Dravidian model of governance, and the law and order situation in Tamil Nadu. He skipped these portions, which was given to him by the government, and it was included in the speech, but he did not. He did not read it out. As a result, उसके बाद क्या हुआ? The Tamil Nadu CM, he immediately moved a resolution demanding only the original printed speech in Tamil be put in records. Now, governor reacted to this in an unprecedented manner by staging a walkout. Then he walked out of the house in protest even before the national anthem was played. So this was quite a news in 10th or 11th of January, and Now we'll study what are the provisions related to the constitution and judiciary. Now, coming to the constitutional part, first of all, here governor has a right to address and send messages. That is Article 175. If you see the provisions, now these all are part of prelims. Okay, the governor may address the legislative assembly, or in case the state having a legislative council, wherever there is a legislative council, either house of the legislature or both houses assembled together may for that purpose require the attendance of members. So he may address the houses. He has the right. The governor may send messages also to the houses with respect to a bill which is then pending in the house or otherwise, or to a house. Any messages sent shall all convenient dispatch consider any matter required by the house to be taken into consideration. Now, any messages he has sent it to the house with respect to a bill or otherwise, or any other thing, it has to be dispatched or taken into the consideration by the house. This is mandatory. It has to be taken into consideration. Now, governor has an option. He may send message, he may not. He may send message, he may not. But once he sends message, it is mandatory. Okay, it has to be taken into consideration. So these are the small sentences you have to read from only prelims point of view, because this is how you study between the lines, because polity is always between the lines. You have to study it between the lines in order to score marks when it comes to UPSC or even state exams also. Okay, fine. Now Article 176. Now it is a special address. When it comes to president, it is Article 87. Same thing when it comes to president. Okay, at the commencement of the first session after each general election, and at the commencement of the first session of each year. So two things, every year, first session commencement, or after the general election, first session, the governor shall address. So it is mandatory. It is mandatory here. It is you have to do it. Okay. Shall address the legislative assembly, or in case a state having council, both houses assembled together. So here both houses are assembled together and inform the legislature of the causes of its summons, and will inform it like why the summon has been done, and he will read it out. Provision shall be made by the rules regarding the procedure of the house or either house of the allotment of time for discussion of matters. Now, discussion of matters, allotment of time, all these things are not mentioned in constitution, but all those provisions shall be in the rules, in the procedure of the house. Rules of procedure. There will be the rules of procedure of the house. Okay. Of the house, or Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Fine. So here, nothing is mentioned about whether he has to read it fully, what is given to him, or he may delete it or omit it. Nothing is mentioned. Simply these two things are mentioned in the constitution. So again, it becomes a problem when something we do not find directly in the constitution. So there comes the interpretation part. Court has to interpret something. Okay, fine. Now, what does the convention says? Now, convention means convention means in Hindi we call it as Upsc Sehmati convention. Now, on the lines of a British convention since 1829, the governor must read the full speech as it is and without any deviation, because it is essentially the government message for which the governor's office bears no responsibility. It's a government message. It's actually the government, but the governor is saying it. So, from the convention point of view, the governor must do it, but it is not mandatory also, because convention is not a law. Convention is also not constitution. So here comes the judiciary. Now judicial pronouncements have been made 2 to 3 times. It has been made. Now I have mentioned two cases. One is this and one is this. It's both the Calcutta High Court. The Calcutta High Court in 1966 held that the governor cannot decline to deliver his address and refuse to fulfill his constitutional duty, implying that the address under 176 is mandatory. Now we studied 176 now, right? I clearly said he has to do. The address he has to do, he cannot decline. He cannot say today I will not do the address. He has to address. It is mandatory. I clearly said. But that is also Supreme Court also said. But that is not our problem. Our problem is whether he will like the omitting some part or not reading some part. Our issue is that. However, the High Court also held that when the governor walks out of the house after laying down the address on the table of the house, it is mere irregularity, not illegality. It is not illegal. अगर वो मतलब address when the governor walks out of the house after laying down the address देने के बाद अगर वो वहां से walk out भी हो जाता है, so that is not illegal. Clear? His action is not questionable under Article 212. Now, what is 212? Wherein the validity of the house of proceedings cannot be challenged. It means anything proceedings happening in the house cannot be challenged in court, right? Whether it's a Lok Sabha also, whether it's state legislature also, it cannot be challenged. When it comes to state legislature, it is Article 212. So it is now having anything happening inside the house, so it cannot be challenged in court. Another court, in another case, the Calcutta High Court said governor has the right to delete or not read irrelevant portions or portions which do not deal with the policy of the government. So it means the court also supporting governor here. It is saying yes, the governor has the right to delete, or he may not read some irrelevant portions which do not deal with the policy of the government. Now the thing is, it is also an ambiguity because it clearly doesn't say what exactly is the policy of the government, whether it's on the governor's will or what. Exactly, it's not clearly mentioned. Whether it's the governor's own thing or whether it's own discretion, nothing is mentioned here. So the point is, so in a way forward, you can write that both governor and CM are actually constitutional functionaries. So at least they should respect each other and at least have a working relationship, because if they don't do, there will be a huge trust deficit. Okay, trust deficit, when a trust deficit happens, it will affect the center-state relations also. Okay. So this is a potential mains part. This particular page, you can write your analysis, mains answer writing. Okay, next. Now next topic is about World Spice Congress. 14th World Spice Congress happened to promote international trade of Indian spices. So here also we'll cover some 2 to 3 to 4 related topics also. Like we'll cover spices. We'll cover some a list of states which produce more spices. Then we'll cover the Indian Spices Board. Then we'll cover some. We'll link it to IR. We'll link it to the Codex standards. Okay, so all these things will cover. Now, what happened is recently, with the aim of promoting international trade of Indian spices, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry hosted the 14th edition of the World Spice Congress. In Mumbai from like it will do on 16th to 18th February. So again in 16th to 18th February it will be news. So I'll not be covering this news again. Okay. Now India is known as the Spice Bowl of India. India is known as the Spice Bowl of India. It produces a number of quality, rare and medicinal spices. Now the theme will be of World Spice Bowl will be Vision 2030. Spices. S for sustainability, P for productivity, I for innovation, C for collaboration, E for excellence, safety. These all words are very important for your mains answer writing. Okay, all these words you can use it in your mains answer writing. Further, it will host the special state and commodity pavilions. Any state having any particular spices, it will promote. The event will provide an opportunity for spice fraternity to meet and promote Indian brands before a bigger global audience. Now, Spice Bowl of the world is India, right? So here are some information. Andhra Pradesh Guntur is referred as the world's biggest chili market. Guntur, remember, it's in Andhra Pradesh, very famous area. J&K is the world's most expensive spice, saffron, very expensive. Delhi's Khadi Baoli is Asia's largest spice market. Remember, Khadi Baoli is the largest spice market in Asia. Northeast Naga chili is one of the world's hottest chilies. Naga chili is the hottest one. Maharashtra is one of the leading states producing spices, one of them. Okay, fine. Now, India is leading the world with unique flavors and spices. As of February 2022, a total of 26 Indian spices have received in GI tag. So you have to cover the GI tag, 26 spices of GI tag, you have to cover it on your own. Now, these include some Coorg, green cardamom, miso ginger, Kanyakumari cloves, Malabar pepper, normal chili, among several others. 26 other are there, you can cover it. Now, what are the medicinal advantages of Indian spices? Now, the spices from India are known for their quality medicinal properties. Indian spices have proven wonders to the world during COVID. Along with India's medicines and vaccines, the world experienced the importance of our spices and kada. Kada was very famous. We all used to take in our COVID times. So, even Indian minister said our grandmother's home remedies like haldi doodh, turmeric, spices like cinnamon, tulsi, these are all they all have medicinal qualities. Now, uh, further, during the challenges pandemic times, the world took note of the age-old and time-tested practices of Ayurveda that involves the use of spices in medicinal products. Ayush Kwat that combines the therapeutic powers of cinnamon, tulsi, dry ginger, and black pepper, also known for boosting immunity. So these our age-old spices are being promoted now because of the COVID. Now, what is Spice Board of India? Now, Spice Board of India is a statutory body from the Spice Board Act of 1986. It comes under, now all the spices comes to the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Now it's an autonomous body responsible for export promotion of 52 scheduled spices and development of cardamom, small and large. Export. Now this body, Spices Board of India, is responsible for the export promotion of 52 scheduled spices. Remember. So here I'll tell you to write something about APIDA. APEDA. What is APIDA? What exactly it does? Write down in the comment box. What exactly it does? Because here Spice Board of India is responsible for export promotion. Now what does APIDA does? It is also a prelims news. You can cover it. Just mention the what it is, from where it came, and what it does. Now these are statistics. You can see the major export destination of spices are US, China, Vietnam, Thailand, and Bangladesh. Now remember, Rajasthan is the top spices producing state in India. Okay, Rajasthan. So this one is important and this one is important. Just Rajasthan, remember. Okay. Now this is the chart where you can see Rajasthan, when it comes to 2021, 2022, the production is Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. It is 34,73,000. 11,61,000 is Rajasthan. Okay. So I guess based on area, it is Rajasthan. Okay, fine. Now spice wise area and production also you can see cardamom. Here the highest is, first of all you can check from here, the highest is 32, this one. So it is garlic. Okay, fine. Next. Now some related news. Now we'll cover, we'll try to connect the spice news with other things related to spices only. So Spice Board of India and UNDP, India's Accelerator Lab. This is India's Accelerator Lab by UNDP. They have signed an MOU to develop blockchain-powered traceability interface for Indian spices to enhance transparency in supply chain and trade. To enhance transparency, they'll use blockchain. Once they use blockchain, they can know everything, starting from where it is manufactured, where it is made, like till where it is delivered, everything a person can know when you're using blockchain technology. Okay. Now recently, FSSAI, the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, it came from FSSAI Act of 2006 statutory body. Now it inaugurated the fifth session of the Codex Committee on Spices and Culinary Herbs, established under Codex Alimentarius Commission. Now CAC, now this is a in particular a IR topic. Okay, Codex Alimentarius Commission. Now see, we started from spices. Now how we are connecting? So this is the most important part for prelims. You have to connect the topics. So that's why, like I usually call it as miscellaneous current affairs. So you have to cover a current affair to another current affair or to a static. Now, what is this commission? Now, this commission basically it is a commission of UN that is jointly managed by WHO and FAO. 1963 में हुआ था Codex Alimentarius Commission. Abhi, as of 2021, this commission has 189 codex members, made up of 188 member countries and one member organization. It means एक organization है, that is European Union plus 188 countries. Now, European Union has 28 countries. India became member in 1964. Now, the membership of this commission is open to all member nations and associate members. तो सब member nations को जा सकता है, जो भी FAO के associate members है, WHO के associate members है, everybody can be a part of this commission. This commission meets in the regular session once in a year, alternating between Geneva and Rome. This is very important. Geneva and Rome वहीं पे ही meet करता है. It works in 6 United Nations official languages: Arabic, Chinese, English, French, Russian, and these are the official languages of United Nations. Hindi is not there, by the way. All the budgetary matters are handled together by WHO and FAO. Now the thing is, what this commission does? This commission basically does food standards. It gives food standards. Okay. Okay. Now this committee started now food standard. There are a lot of foods, right? So when it comes to spices, there is a committee of spices, committee on spices and culinary herbs. Now this fifth session happened. Now this came in 2000. This came in 2013. This one. Okay. Now this commission was established under this Codex Alimentarius Commission. Fine. Okay. Now basically in this committee, the session of this committee, they simply promote spices. Okay, they promote spices. Fine. Now next topic is Shamlat lands holds key to Dalit empowerment. So there was a on 11th January there was a DownToEarth magazine where it is saying the Shamlat lands hold key to Dalit empowerment related to Punjab lands. Okay, now the topic, how the question will come. It is basically a prelims question. They'll simply ask recently news the word Shamlat, the terminology question. It refers to what? Or if they ask directly that these lands belong to which area? Punjab, Odisha, Telangana or Andhra. Like this they can ask, or they can simply ask about Shamlat. Simply Shamlat kya hai? It is basically lands. Okay, community lands. Basically it is community lands. We'll study it now. Okay. See, so these all articles you have to read very carefully, and that too very technically. I'll not say the word is technical. You have to read these statements very technically and absolutely prelims oriented, and can use it in mains wherever required. Basically, the Dalits comprise 31.9% of Punjab's total population. The village common land is called Shamlat. So that is the village common land. It also holds high importance for them because they own only 3.5% of the state's total land. Almost 73% of the Dalit population in the state resides in villages, is largely landless and facing housing shortage as well. So now the concept of this common land, that is Shamlat lands, dates back to centuries in rural Indian tradition. Common lands it's not a modern concept, it's a very like ancient concept. Along its most reliable definitions in recent sources, that one stands out given by the Supreme Court in 2011. The Jagpal Singh case में Supreme Court ने एक चीज बोला था कि since time immemorial there have been common lands. काफी टाइम से एंशियंट टाइम से कॉमन लैंड्स है और अलग अलग नाम से है. शमलत लैंड्स पंजाब में बोला जाता है. मेनी नॉर्थ इंडियन स्टेट्स में ग्राम सभा लैंड बोला जाता है, ग्राम पंचायत लैंड बोला जाता है. साउथ इंडिया में मंडावेली, पुराम्बोके लैंड. ऑल these terms are important for prelims. Okay, all these terms please make a note of it. These can be asked anytime. Kalam, Medan, these are all lands for common village lands. Okay, so now the thing, the news is to these lands should be preserved and should be promoted so that there is empowerment to the Dalit population. Okay, or there is empowerment to the Dalit because of these lands. Fine. ठीक है. Now next topic is Uganda declares end of Ebola disease outbreak, WHO says. So here we'll cover what is Ebola disease. Basically Ebola it is a deadly disease. You call it as hemorrhagic fever, you can call it Ebola virus disease, EVD. It's a deadly disease that occur mostly in the African continent. Ebola was first discovered in 1976 near the Ebola River in DRC, that is Democratic Republic of Congo. It is mostly it affects people, non-human primates like monkeys, chimpanzees, gorillas. सबको affect करता है with humans. Now the host is fruit bats of the Petropodi family. So fruit bats एक family है. These are natural Ebola virus host. Now उस फ्रूट को जब हम कंज्यूम करते हैं तो इबोला वायरस होता है. ट्रांसमिशन बोथ एनिमल टू ह्यूमन होता है, ह्यूमन टू ह्यूमन भी होता है. ओके, now diagnosis here, some prelims aspect. It can be difficult to clinically establish Ebola from other infectious diseases such as malaria, typhoid fever and meningitis, but confirmation that symptoms are caused by Ebola virus are made. कंफर्मेशन एक दो मेथड से होता है. वो मेथड का नाम आपको जानना जरूरी है फॉर प्रीलिम्स. वन इज एलिसा एंड वन इज आरटीपीसीआर. एलिसा इज एंटीबॉडी कैप्चर एंजाइम लिंक्ड इम्यूनोसॉर्बेंट एसे. इसको याद कर लेना. एक वैक्सीन भी है, वैक्सीन का नाम है एरवेवो. ओके, और RVSB Zevo vaccine has been highly effective in containing the disease. So this name also important for prelims. However, ये जो वैक्सीन है, it has only been approved to protect against a particular Zaire strain of the virus. बहुत सारे strains होते हैं, उसी strain को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए अप्रूव हुआ है, बाकी किसी के लिए नहीं हुआ. Just remember this name. This vaccine is for Ebola. So vaccine is there. ठीक है. तो ये क्वेश्चन Ebola वायरस का 2015 में आ चुका था. At that point of time, it was in news also. This time also it is in news. So you can expect a Ebola question. Next. ओके, WHO ने अलर्ट दिया है ऑन सब स्टैंडर्ड कफ सिरप्स मेड बाय नोएडा फार्म. इंडिया का एक कंपनी है नोएडा पे, अलर्ट दिया है. ठीक है, कफ सिरप, और उसका नाम है, कफ सिरप का नाम है एम्ब्रोनॉल एंड DOK1 मैक्स. सो एम्ब्रोनॉल वर्ड आपको प्रीलिम्स में आ सकता है. रिसेंटली न्यूज, एम्ब्रोनॉल क्या है, दे मे आस्क इज इट अ कफ सिरप और अ मिसाइल और समथिंग. दे मे ट्राई टू कंफ्यूज यू. So embryonal word zaruri hai. So these are all like science and tech or general question, general current affairs, the general science current affairs mein these kind of questions are asked in prelims. So following the death of 18 children in Uzbekistan mein after consuming substandard cough syrup, WHO ने alert किया है against 2 liquid dosage medicines manufactured by Noida based Marion Biotech Private Limited. अलर्ट जारी हुआ है and the alert was against this Ambronol and DOK max syrup substandard. These are nothing but cough syrup. Just remember cough syrups. Okay. And please try to cover Uzbekistan map. We'll cover in some other current affair. I missed it, but we'll cover it some other current affair, not an issue. But you can go through the Uzbekistan mapping because काफी सारे countries adjoining countries हैं इसमें. Okay. Okay. Basmati rice. FSSAI set standards for basmati rice to be enforced from August. Now here the topic is कुछ standards आया है बासमती राइस के लिए एंड एफएसएसआई ने स्टैंडर्ड सेट किया है टू बी एनफोर्स फ्रॉम अगस्त. अब ये जो स्टैंडर्ड आ गया है, दिस मूव विल इंक्रीज द एक्सपोर्ट्स ऑफ दिस फ्रैग्रेंट राइस ऑफ इंडिया. ओके. Now, in a bid to promote the business around basmati rice, so we'll cover basmati rice also. FSSAI came from FSSAI Act of 2006. Notified standards for basmati rice. अब standards क्या है? ये है standards. The authority, that is the FSSAI, has set standards on parameters such as average size of grains, their elongation ratio after cooking. It has set the maximum limits for moisture, amylose content, uric acid, damaged grains, presence कितना non basmati rice है, ये सब के लिए standard set कर दिया है. Now the standards will be applicable to brown basmati rice, millet basmati rice, parboiled brown basmati rice and millet parboiled basmati rice. ये चार प्रकार के basmati rice को the standards will be applied. Okay. And it will also protect the consumer interest and ensure basmati rice sold in the market has characteristic fragrance. ठीक है, ताकि कुछ मिलावटें ना हो. It ensure that basmati rice का जो fragrance है, जो characteristic है, वो उसी variety का काफी नाम है, right? Because of that, this will ensure establish fair practices in trade and basmati and protect consumer interest. Now this is basmati rice. It is a long grain rice and has origin from India. याद करना, origin India में है and some parts of Pakistan. It has a unique position in the rice wall due to its price, fragrance, grain morphology as well as quality. It has a unique fragrance and flavor caused due to the presence of a chemical. उस chemical का नाम है 2-acetyl-1-pyrrolin. इसी chemical के वजह से fragrance काफी unique है, 2-acetyl-1-pyrrolin. This chemical is found in basmati rice at about 90 parts per million, which is 12 times more than non-basmati rice varieties. Okay. Now, basmati rice needs specific climatic conditions to grow in which it is cultivated in selected regions of India. यहाँ पे बस इसी एरिया पे basmati rice cultivate होता है. That is in Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Uttarakhand, Madhya Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir, Western Uttar Pradesh, mostly North India. Okay. Now, India is the largest producer of basmati rice, like 70% share. Global production out of the whole global production, 70% share comes with India. India's significant exports, basmati rice constitutes of India's significant exports in terms of soft power, hard money. It is cultivated in North India. We already covered. Now, in 2010, GI status was given to the basmati rice only in Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Himachal, Uttarakhand, and parts of Western Uttar Pradesh and Jammu Kashmir. Major chunk of basmati rice is exported to Gulf, Saudi Arabia, Iran, UAE, Iraq, Kuwait, mostly Gulf countries को export किया जाता है. Now GI protection अगर पढ़ ही रहे हैं तो यहाँ पे थोड़ा बहुत information will cover it. GI protection. GI protection first of all हमारे इंडिया में GI protection के लिए एक law है, that is Goods Registration and Protection Act of 1990, which came into force in 2003. Now India is a member because WTO का member है India, तो and WTO में we have about like there is something called TRIPS. Okay, that is the agreement on the trade related aspects of intellectual property. So India here you have to cover WTO in detail to know this. That provides registration and protection of GI goods in India. Now, this act is administered by this Controller General of Patents, Designs and Trademarks, which is also the registrar of GI, Geographical Indications. Geographical Indication का जो है रजिस्ट्री का जो है लोकेशन वो चेन्नई में है एंड एक बार जीआई टैग मिल गया उसका जो वैलिडिटी रहता है इट इज फॉर 10 years, you have to renew it after 10 years. It can be renewed from time to time for 10 years each. ये हो गया इंडिया का प्रोटेक्शन. नाउ इंटरनेशनली आल्सो इट आर कवर्ड एज अ कंपोनेंट ऑफ इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी. आईपीआर के एम्बिट में जीआई कम्स. ओके, there's a convention, Paris Convention for Protection of Industrial Property 1883 में हुआ था, which applies to industrial property in the widest sense, including patents, trademarks, industrial designs, utility models, service marks, trade names, also geographical indications, and the repression of unfair competition. तो Paris Convention covers all these. ठीक है, पेटेंट्स करता है, ट्रेड मार्क, ट्रेड नेम्स, एनी सर्विस मार्क आप बना रहे हो या फिर यू आर डूइंग एनी काइंड ऑफ ज्योग्राफिकल इंडिकेशंस, ऑल दीस आर कवर्ड अंडर द पेरिस कन्वेंशन व्हिच इंडिया इज अ पार्ट. 1883, remember. Paris Convention applies to all these things. Now GI is governed by also, now see, GI is also governed under Paris Convention. Now Paris Convention is not mandatory. It's not mandatory. It means it simply gives guidelines, and once you sign the convention, ratify the convention, then the country has to bring some law or rules in their own domestic domestic country. GI is governed by WTO's TRIPS also. Here you have to cover WTO. Lot of it's a very big chapter from economy or IR. You have to cover all the relevant agreements on agriculture, TRIPS, TRIMS, etc., etc., like agreement on subsidies, agreement on countervailing duties, everything you have to cover. Fine. Now this is the act, Food Safety and Standard Act of 2006, from where FSSAI was established in 2006. That provided the head office will be in Delhi. Moreover, it can establish office in any other place. It is a body corporate having a perpetual succession, common seal, and right to own and dispose of property on its own name. Like any other body corporate, it can sue and can be sued in its own name. So it works as a corporate body. Okay, it has the right to dispose of property on its own name. Okay, you can sue that body. You can sue, or it can also sue anyone. Okay, chairperson, 22 members selected by central government through a selection committee. It provides for a CEO. Now will be appointed by the central government. Now he will be the legal representative of this food authority. The CEO will legally represent it. And the act also provides that food authority will establish various other authorities like a central advisory committee, scientific panels, scientific committee. It also empowers state government to appoint a commissioner of food safety for the state for effective implementation of the provisions of this act at the state level. State level पे इस act के provisions अच्छे तरीके से implementation हो, उसके लिए state government has to appoint a commissioner of food safety. Okay. Now there is a topic, groundwater. Groundwater in 12 Indian states found to be contaminated with uranium. Okay. Now this is in news. Groundwater in 12 states. Now the topic is uranium contamination. Now 12 Indian states have uranium levels beyond the permissible limits in their groundwater. The most recent report on the state of groundwater released by Central Groundwater Board ने रिलीज किया है, जहां पे ये पता चला है कि 12 Indian states have increased, in a way breached their uranium level. जितना भी permissible limits दिया गया है वो beyond हो गया है उससे. Okay. Now uranium concentration is found within safe limits in 13 states, and none of the samples collected from Kerala had its presence. Okay, so Kerala में नहीं है. Okay, Punjab is the worst affected. Remember, Punjab is the worst affected in terms of percentage of wells found to have uranium concentration more than 30 ppb, the safe levels prescribed by BIS and WHO. इतना safe level है, और वो भी उससे ज्यादा हो गया है. WHO भी प्रिस्क्राइब किया है, BIS, ब्यूरो ऑफ इंडियन स्टैंडर्ड्स, जो इंडियन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, तो ये भी किया है. नाउ यू हैव टू कवर व्हाट इज BIS, what it does, and when it was established. Mention in comment box when it was established, and also mention about BIS Act of 2016. What are the provisions? These are all important parts from exam point of view. Okay. So Punjab has highest. Okay, Punjab has 532. Haryana, then UP. Fine. Okay, next. So, what are the factors responsible for uranium contamination? The amount of uranium content in an aquifer rocks. One of the important factor, water rock interactions that cause the uranium to be extracted from those rocks. Water और rock का जो interaction होता है, जो chemical reaction होता है, okay, it causes the uranium to be extracted from those rocks. Oxidation conditions that enhance the extracted uranium solubility in water. The interaction of the extracted uranium with other chemicals in the groundwater, such as bicarbonate, which can further enhance solubility. तो वो और soluble हो जाता है. Human factors such as groundwater table decline or nitrate pollution, these are all in a way aggravating the problem. Uranium is a naturally occurring element found in low levels within all rock, soil, water. वहाँ से naturally मिलता है, लेकिन all these factors से वो और बढ़ जाता है और it becomes aggravated. Uranium is a weak radioactive substance because of its long physical life. It has the highest number element to be found naturally in significant quantities on Earth. This is the Central Groundwater Board. 1954 से है, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ वाटर रिसोर्सेज के अंडर काम करती है. नेशनल अपेक्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है टू कैरी आउट साइंटिफिक सर्वे, एक्सप्लोरेशन, मॉनिटरिंग ऑफ डेवलपमेंट, मैनेजमेंट एंड रेगुलेशन ऑफ कंट्रीज वास्ट ग्राउंड वाटर रिसोर्सेज. ये बोर्ड काम करता है. बेसिकली सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट एंड मैनेजमेंट ऑफ ग्राउंड वाटर. Okay, so here also cover the recent, there is a recent 1-2 years back groundwater bill. Cover this. Okay, so in your self study. Fine. Roman secret to durable architecture. So for durable architecture, the Romans have very durable architecture. Now what is the secret? Now this is the secret. Quicklime, pozzolanic material, hot mixed to make concrete can endure for millenniums. It can also help reduce environmental impact of cement production. This you have to remember. Simple. You have to remember. Quicklime, pozzolanic material, hot mixed. So new research from Massachusetts, MIT, that is Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Italy, have discovered the recent the secret behind Roman construction abilities, whose remains are still enigma after millennium. बहुत सालों के बाद, millennium के बाद भी they are still very durable and enigmatic. Now there was a paper published in the journal shows that Romans used a hot mixing method. They use a hot mixing method to create their durable structures. The unexpected ancient manufacturing strategy might hold the key to the architectural creations by the Romans. The method gave the concrete self-healing properties so that the cracks would fill before they could spread. Because of this hot mixing method, spread होने से पहले ही they will heal themselves. The ancient Romans were masters of engineering, constructing vast networks of roads, aqueducts, ports, and massive buildings, whose remains have survived for over 2 millennia. Most of the structures were built with concrete. Rome's famed Pantheon, which has the world's largest unreinforced concrete dome, was dedicated in 128 AD. It is still there. Romans Pantheon. Okay. So this is the Romans Pantheon. You can check here. Okay, the diagram is not there. Fine. You can check in internet. This is the Pantheon. Yeah, this is the Pantheon. Fine. Some ancient Roman aqueducts still deliver water to Roman today. Meanwhile, some modern concrete structures have crumbled over a large decade. Now see the difference. Modern concrete structures crumble हो चुके हैं. For many years, researchers assumed the key to the ancient concrete durability. क्यों है ये concrete का इतना durability? Why? Was based on one ingredient. एक ingredient है, उसका नाम है pozzolanic material. Pozzolanic material such as volcanic ash from the area Pozzoli on the Bay of Naples. You can check where is Bay of Naples. Under closer examination, the researchers found the ancient samples also contain small, distinctive millimeter scale bright white mineral features which have been long recognized as ubiquitous component of Roman concretes. These white chunks, often called lime clast, originate from lime, another critical part of the ancient concrete. Basically lime. Okay. The relic lime cast were earlier thought of as evidence of sloppy mixing practices or poor quality raw materials. On close examination, they found the Romans employed a hot mixing method and used quick lime in conjunction with or instead of slaked lime for producing concrete. Hot mixing, the team has now concluded, was actually the key to the super durable nature. Simply 2 to 3 terms you have to remember for only for prelims. Okay, fine. Now, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari says Indo-Japan Joint Working Group will together work to help India achieve sustainable transport goals. So the news has nothing great information here, but we'll cover the Japan mapping. So this is the Japan map. In our last class of current affairs, we had covered the mapping, but again we'll cover. So basically Japan is divided into 4 islands. Honshu. Okay. Honshu. Second is this is Shikoku. This is Kyushu. And another Hokkaido must be there somewhere. Okay. Where is Hokkaido? This one is Hokkaido. This part. Fine. So these are the 4 Hokkaido. Okay. So here this is Sea of Japan. North Korea, South Korea, Japan. Shinano River. Okay. Shinano River is in Hokkaido. So lot of important cities are there. Okay. Nagoya Protocol under CBD. Kyoto Protocol under UNFCCC. Osaka, very important place. Then Tokyo, Mount Fuji, Nagasaki, Hiroshima, and Yokohama. Mention what is Yokohama strategy. Can anyone tell? Okay, bata deta hu. It is related to disaster. Okay, it is related to disaster. Mention in which year Yokohama strategy happened related to disaster. I just gave you. It is related to Sendai. We have a Sendai framework, right? From 2015 to 2030. Similarly, there is something called Yokohama strategy before Sendai. Okay, and Sea of Vostok also you can check. East China Sea important. So basically, it's a easy mapping. Nothing important confusing terms here. Remember these 4. This one. Okay, Hokkaido is here. Sorry, Hokkaido is here. Hokkaido, then Honshu, then Shikoku, then Kyushu. So you have to arrange this in north to south. Okay. I thought I interchange Honshu and Hokkaido. First is Hokkaido, then Hokkaido, Honshu, Shikoku and Kyushu. Okay. Shikoku, Kyushu के नीचे है Ryukyu Islands. Okay. Fine. Okay. So now see these kind of news, how you have to connect. See, the news is from AIR. Okay. Now Home Minister Amit Shah releases a book titled, the book name is Revolutionaries, the other story of how India won its freedom. Now Amit Shah released. Who wrote it? economist Sanjeev Sanyal. Now, economist Sanjeev Sanyal has nothing to do with UPSC. They will not ask in UPSC. They will not ask who wrote this book. But he is a member of the Economic Advisory Council. Economic Advisory Council to the PM. Now, this Economic Advisory Council is a UPSC topic. UPSC economic topic. You have to cover it. Now, in other exams, in SSC exams or any other Tier 2, Tier 3 exams, they may ask, this book was written by whom? It is by Sanjit Sanyal. Even state exams, they may ask in Sanjit Sanyal, like who was the recently there is a book of revolutionaries, the story of how India won its freedom, which was written by whom? By Sanjit Sanyal. Fine. So here our topic is Economic Advisory Council to the PM, which is a economic topic. Now, this is a non-constitutional, non-permanent independent. Non-permanent, it will be over in some years. Again, it will be constituted. There is no constitution. It is not constitution में लिखा नहीं है. Fine. It's also independent body. What it will do? Economic advice to the PM. It will advise the PM, especially the Prime Minister, on economic and policy related matters. ठीक है? It has been constituted several times since the independence. Function क्या है? Any issue it will analyze, economic or otherwise, referred to it by the PM and advising him. He has to advise. It will address any macroeconomic issues, anything related to economy. Economic advisory. Fine. It is chaired by a chairperson and consists of eminent economists as members, and it is supported by a team of officials. There is no fixed definition on the exact number of members and staff. Remember, in prelims, they may confuse you with 10, 20, 21, 25. All are wrong statements. There is no definition. Okay? At one point, it was even chaired by the PM, Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Now the prelims question comes, whether the chairman of PMEC can be PM. Yes, it can be PM. Once hua hai वैसा. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was himself the chairman of the PMEC. For administrative, logistic planning and budget purposes, Niti Aayog serves as the nodal agency. Administration के लिए, logistics के लिए, planning के लिए, budgeting के लिए, Niti Aayog will be serving as the nodal agency for EAC PM. Fine. Recently, government ने reconstitute किया है. Government makes it, then ये बंद हो जाता है, फिर again it's constituted, like it goes on because it is a non-permanent body. Under the leadership of Vivek Debroy को किया है. Fine. For a period of 2 years. After it, the term came to an end in 2021. Fine. Now coming to the last topic, that is in every current affair class we have a personality news where we, whenever you cover the personality, we cover a lot of aspects of modern history through current affairs. Okay. So here, tribute to Vivekananda. On his birth anniversary, Home Minister gave, President, PM, Vice President, everyone gave. So we'll cover because of National Youth Day. Okay. So Vivekananda, like I have covered only from prelims and mains point of view. Like mostly it is prelims, but it will enrich your mains answer because I believe mains is always answer writing. Because only reading will not help you in mains. First of all, you have to make good informative notes that will help you in prelims. But for mains, it is only and only answer writing. Nothing else will help you in mains. Okay, if you keep on reading, it will not help you in mains. You have to answer right. Plus, you have to give a proper analysis, but wherever required, depending on the question, obviously. 1863, he was born. Narendranath Datta is another name, like his original name. And he was interested in spirituality and he used to meditate in front of images of deities such as Shiva, Ram, Sita, Mahavir, Hanuman, everyone. So he was a wandering ascetic and monk. With his interest, he wanted to become a monk, and he was a rambunctious child, and his parents frequently struggled to keep him under control. Ramakrishna mission, we have a Ramakrishna mission. So here comes the name Ramakrishna Paramahans. He became his guru. So cover Ramakrishna mission. We'll cover this. Ramakrishna mission also will cover when the date comes. Okay. We'll cover in some other current affair class. Now he became his guru. He became a monk, traveled extensively throughout India. His writings and speeches contributed significantly to the spread of Hindu philosophy in the West, particularly Advaita, Vedanta, and Yoga philosophies. Now, he accepted monastic vows in 1886 only at the age of 23. He founded many mathas in India, the most notable of which is the Belur Math. Belur Math is in Belur, it is in Howrah. We also have another Math, Ramakrishna Math. Now, can anyone tell me where is the headquarter of Ramakrishna Math? Where is the headquarter? Okay, let me tell you. The headquarter Math is in the same Howrah. Okay, the headquarter, I'm talking about headquarter. We have other branches also. In 1987, he founded the Ramakrishna Mission. He died in Belur Math, 1902. Okay. Now, some more information. Contribution. These are in mains. You can use it when if a direct question comes. Contribution. Basically, they can ask to contribution. They can ask to whether Vivekananda was a revivalist or not. So this is a very good mains answer. Fine. We'll start from here. So his religious conscience was a synthesis of Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual teachings. He was very fond of his spiritual teachings of Ramakrishna, his guru, on divine manifestation and his own internalization of Advaita Vedanta philosophy. He addressed now Advaita, Advaita. These are all parts of philosophies, static philosophies, which we'll cover in ancient or medieval history. Okay, sources. Poonam Dalal Dahiya. Very good book. You can cover from here. Both ancient and medieval covered. He addressed the people of India, urging them to abolish the caste system, promote science and industrialization. So he promoted science and industrialization, which was against Gandhiji. Okay, and abolish the caste system. He inspired many people to join the freedom struggle, which aided the rise of the national independence movement. Now he founded a new kind of Vedanta that is called Neo Vedanta, like his own version of Vedanta. He proved to improve the understanding of Hinduism as well as nationalism. So in a way, he connected nationalism with Hinduism because he was very popular in the 1980s and early 1890s. So at that point of time, Bal Gangadhar Tilak already was into the limelight. So nationalism already started. So he tried to convert the nationalism aspect with the religion angle. The best form of worship, in his opinion, was public service. He emphasized physical and moral strength. Now, according to Vivekananda, 4 pillars of nationalism are consciousness and pride in Indian glory, strengthening in both moral and physical character, awakening of masses, and unity based on shared spiritual beliefs. So, consciousness of our glory, ancient glory, strengthening both moral and physical character, awakening the masses, and unity based on shared spiritual beliefs. During his wanderings, he learned about the World Parliament of Religion, which was held in Chicago, and he attended, and he he promoted our glory, the glory of Hinduism there. In 1894, he founded the Vedanta Society of New York. Remember, potential prelims question. After spending the next 2 years and a half in America, he started this particular society, Vedanta Society of New York. Now, some important stuff related to prelims. Vivekananda was nicknamed the maker of modern India. By whom? Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Very later, because he died in 1890s. Netaji died in 1944. So he was a nicknamed maker of modern India. Now, he was also called the second Shankaracharya by Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Tilak and Vivekananda, they were from one generation, one time. Okay, they both had huge mutual respect. Okay, Tilak was if you see, their character was also same. Okay, Tilak was also into staunch Hinduism. he was also okay. He was also into nationalism. He was also into nationalism, but he was more into a combination of both. Okay, Tilak was individual. He was into Hinduism, was into full into nationalism, or you can say that extremist. Fine. So he was called after his death. He was called second Sankaracharya by Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Now the question is, was Vivekananda a revivalist? Very important question. Now, what is the meaning of revival? A revivalist versus a reformist. We see these words, right? Before our social reformer names. Reformist means you are reforming something, changes, moving ahead, moving forward. Science, religion. Like for example, Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Okay, he was a reformer. Syed Ahmed Khan, a reformer. A revivalist means, for example, going back to our glory, going back to our culture, or going back to our Vedas, going back to our Vedas or culture, revival. Okay. Now the question is, was Vivekananda a revivalist? See, to describe him as a revivalist is to ignore the universality aspects of his teachings. You can't exactly say only he was a revivalist because his teachings were very universal in nature also. Nevertheless, because he drew inspiration from the Vedic tradition, he followed some orthodox Hindu rituals, he exhibited an intrinsic faith in the glories of Hindu civilization and nurtured a belief that it had degenerated in recent times, made it appropriate for revivalists to appropriate it. The thing is, क्योंकि वो Vedic tradition is a very ancient old tradition, so he drew inspiration from that. He even followed some orthodox Hindu rituals. Even he told that the glories of Hindu civilization is degenerating. We have to regenerate it. That is the reason why the revivalist told or said, yes, Vivekananda is also a revivalist. His evocation of Hindu glory mixed with patriotism, which sought to restore the masculinity of the Indian nation, denied to them by their colonial masters, had a tremendous impact on the popular mindset. His message was therefore misused and misinterpreted to give a revivalist. So he was not exactly a revivalist. You can say he also had universalistic aspects because he took our Hindu religion to the world. Okay, and he did not. He was not against reform. He was not against reform either. He simply said, okay, because he also wanted freedom. He also want because he is wanting freedom also from colonial rule. So he was a, you can say he was a mix of both. He was a mix of both. He did not wanted you have to go to the age old traditions, so women should be subjugated. No, he was not that. Even Tilak was that. Tilak was very conservative. Tilak was very conservative. But Vivekananda was not conservative. So we can't say he was a revivalist. So that's all for today. Thank you.